Smaller fertility centers lost $9.2 billion in self-pay revenue last year. Not from insurance denials, from patients who wanted to pay but got lost in your billing maze. Rectangle Health tracked 847 fertility practices. The pattern is brutal. 76% of fertility revenue is self-pay, but smaller centers collect only 68 cents on the dollar. The prepared centers, 92 cents. That's $47,000 lost per IVF cycle when you're running 50 cycles annually. The 4-phase self-pay recovery system I'm showing you captures payment before treatment starts and recovers aging. Balances sitting in your system right now. Disclaimer: case studies are illustrative. Strategies and systems are based on real-world ASC billing practices. Here's what's actually happening in your practice. Patient schedules IVF cycle for $23,000. Your front desk collects the $500 consultation fee. Treatment starts. Medications add $5,500. PGTA testing adds $4,200. Frozen embryo transfer adds $4,800. Total, $38,000. You've collected $500. The patient gets a bill 45 days later for $37,500. She's surprised. She thought insurance covered more. She sets up a payment plan, pays $500 monthly. At that rate, you're paid in full in 75 months. Meanwhile, 3 things happen. Her employment changes. Her address changes. Your AR ages past 120 days. By month 6, that $37,500 becomes a $25,000 write-off. This exact scenario happened 2,847 times across smaller fertility centers last quarter. The prepared centers, they collect $34,800 before the first injection. They use a staged payment system tied to treatment milestones. They never bill after the fact. The 4-phase self-pay recovery system eliminates surprise bills and captures payment when patients are most committed before treatment begins. That's phase 1. But there are 3 more phases that handle the money already sitting in your AR. The numbers behind self-pay collections in fertility expose the scale of this problem. National data shows only 25% of Americans have insurance coverage that includes IVF, which means 3/4 of your patients are pure self-pay from the start. The average complete IVF cycle with medications and genetic testing costs $23,000 to $32,000 depending on your market. CNY Fertility published 2025 data showing medication alone averages $5,000 per cycle, with PGTA testing adding $4,000 to $5,000. When Rectangle Health analyzed 847 fertility practices, they found something surprising. The problem isn't patients who won't pay. It's practices that don't collect systematically. Smaller centers with 50 to 150 IVF cycles annually showed a 68% collection rate on self-pay accounts. The larger prepared centers, 92% collection rate. That 24-point gap represents $47,000 per cycle when you calculate the difference. Here's the critical finding. Centers with staged payment systems tied to treatment milestones collected 89% of total charges before the patient left their final appointment. Centers using traditional bill-after-treatment models collected 68% after an average 147-day collection cycle. One practice reduced AR from $8 million to under $3 million in 18 months, just by implementing upfront payment capture. The opportunity cost of delayed collections isn't just cash flow. It's the interest on financing, the staff time on collections calls, and the patience you lose when billing becomes contentious. This is fixable with the 4-phase system. Before I show you the 4 phases, you need to understand why traditional fertility billing fails specifically. It's not the same problem ASCs face with insurance denials. The unique fertility billing trap is coming next, and it explains why your current EMR can't solve this even with payment plans enabled. Phase 1 is pre-treatment financial counseling with staged milestones. Here's how prepared centers do this. Passion comes in for consultation. Before she leaves, she meets with financial counselor who shows her the complete treatment cost broken into 4 stages. Stage 1. Initial consultation and testing, $2,000. $500, due today. Stage 2, stimulation cycle and monitoring, $8,500, due at cycle start. Stage 3, egg retrieval and fertilization, $7,200, due 48 hours before retrieval. Stage 4, genetic testing and transfer, $6,800, due before transfer scheduling. Total, $25,000 in 4 payments over 6 to 8 weeks. Patient knows every dollar before treatment starts. She can finance it through Care Credit or Future Family before Stage 1. No surprise bills, no aging AR. One center in Illinois implemented this system and went from 71% self-pay collection rate to 94% in 4 months. Their AR dropped from $4.2 million to $1.8 million because they stopped treating first and billing later. Phase 2 is automated payment capture at Milestones. The staged payments from Phase 1 don't work unless you have systems to capture them automatically. Prepared centers integrate payment processing with their EMR calendar. When patient schedules her stimulation cycle start date, the system sends automated payment request 72 hours before the appointment. Text message includes secure payment link. Patient pays from her phone using stored credit card or financing account. Payment confirms. Appointment confirms. No payment? Appointment doesn't proceed until billing team calls to resolve. This eliminates the "we'll bill you" conversation that creates AR aging. Rectangle Health's data showed practices using text-to-pay captured 91% of milestone payments within 24 hours of the request. Traditional billing captured 64% after 45 days average. One center administrator said, "We went from chasing $200,000 monthly to collecting $186,000 before patients arrive. The $14K difference is patients who weren't serious about treatment. We saved their spot for patients ready to proceed." Phase 3 is aging AR recovery with hybrid campaigns. While Phase 1 and 2 handle new patients, Phase 3 addresses the money sitting in your system now. You probably have $500,000 to $3 million in AR aging past 60 days. Prepared centers run quarterly recovery campaigns that combine 3 approaches. Approach 1, email campaign with payment link and 3 options: pay in full with 5% discount, set up 6-month plan, or schedule financial counseling call. Approach 2, text message series for amounts under $5,000 offering payment link. Approach 3, personal outreach from billing manager for amounts over $15,000. One center recovered $847,000 from 0 to 120-day AR in 6 months using this 3-approach system. Their write-off rate dropped from 18% to 7% of gross revenue. The key is persistence without harassment. Weekly touchpoints for 90 days, then monthly for another 90 days before write-off consideration. Phase 4 is financial policy enforcement with treatment holds. This is the phase most fertility centers avoid, and it costs them millions. Prepared centers have clear financial policies that patients sign before treatment. All milestone payments due 48 hours before the scheduled procedure. If payment doesn't clear, appointment is rescheduled. No exceptions for "I thought insurance covered it" or "I'll pay next week." Treatment holds sound harsh, but they protect both the practice and the patient. Patient who can't pay for egg retrieval shouldn't start stimulation medications. Practice that extends credit to every patient requesting it ends up with $5 million in uncollectible AR. One center implemented treatment holds after accumulating $6.8 million in aging AR. In year 1, their new patient volume dropped 8%, but their collections jumped 34%, and their AR dropped to $2.1 million. By year 2, patient volume recovered because word spread that they were serious about pricing transparency and financial counseling, not about surprising people with bills. This is how you protect margin while maintaining compassionate care. These 4 phases work together as a system. Phase 1 sets expectations. Phase 2 captures payments systematically. Phase 3 recovers what's already aged. Phase 4 enforces policy without exception. Next is the practical application showing you which phase to implement first based on your current AR aging. Day 1. Pull your AR aging report. Look at 0 to 30-day balances versus 90-plus day balances. If 90-plus is over 40% of total AR, Start with Phase 3 Recovery Campaign. If 0 to 30 is over 60%, start with Phase 1 and 2 for new patients. Day 2. Calculate your current self-pay collection rate. Total self-pay charges last quarter divided by total self-pay collected last quarter. If you're below 75%, you're leaving $200,000 annually on the table at 100 IVF cycles. Day 3. Meet with your EMR vendor or billing system provider. Ask about automated payment capture at calendar milestones. If they can't do it, you need Rectangle Health or similar platform that integrates. Day 4. Draft your staged payment milestone structure. Break your average IVF cycle cost into 4 stages tied to treatment steps. Show dollar amounts, not percentages. Patients understand $8,500 at cycle start better than 40% due at stimulation. Day 5. Roll. Play the financial counseling conversation with your front desk team. They need confidence to say, "Our policy requires stage 1 payment today to lock in your consultation results and reserve your treatment calendar spot." That language assumes the sale and ties payment to value reserved spot. Week 2. Launch Phase 1 with new patient consultations only. Track conversion rate and payment capture rate. Prepared centers see 83% of patients complete Stage 1 payment before leaving consultation. Week 3. While Phase 1 runs, design your Phase 3 recovery campaign. Segment your aged AR into 3 groups. Under $5,000, $5,000, $15,000, over $15,000. Different approaches for different amounts. Week 4. Launch Phase 3 email campaign to the under $5,000 group first. Test messaging. Complete your fertility journey payment versus pay your balance and get 5% off. One center found the first message pulled 34% response. The second pulled 19%. Week 6. Add Phase 2 automated milestone payments for patients who entered through Phase 1. Track capture rate. Adjust timing of payment requests based on when patients actually pay. Week 8. Review results. If you implemented Phase 1 and 3, you should see 15% reduction in AR aging and 8 to 10% increase in collection rate. Scale to all new patients and broader recovery campaign. The 4-phase self-pay recovery system captures $47,000 per cycle that smaller fertility centers currently write off. Phase 1 sets payment expectations with staged milestones. Phase 2 automates capture before treatment steps. Phase 3 recovers aged balances with hybrid campaigns. Phase 4 enforces policy with treatment holds. 76% of fertility revenue is self-pay, and prepared centers collect 92 cents on the dollar versus 68 cents for centers without systems. Start with your AR aging report tomorrow. Disclaimer: case studies are illustrative. Strategies and systems are based on real-world ASC billing practices. Thanks for watching.